Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching us from. Welcome to another episode of Sedat HR Digest, where we discuss people, issues, and how to help our organizations perform better. Last week, we looked at collective bargaining and labor relations. And today we have another interesting topic. We are looking at managing different generations at the workplace. I want to remind you that Sedat HR Digest is brought to you by Sedat Consult. You can contact us for all your people and HR related issues. And also we have JPEG Ghana Limited. You can reach them on 0571870 972 0571870 for all your printing issues, and they would sort you out. Today, our resource person is one that I have known for a while. She works with one of the biggest shipping company in Ghana, and she owns an HR firm known as H4 Factor that helps small companies and individuals with CV drafting and review. If you want to ensure that your CV is in good shape and you want employers to be calling you for interviews and giving you the job, please don't hesitate to reach out to H4 Factor and they would help you out. She also owns a small NGO and they support the needy with sanitary pads and any other thing that you would want to help them with. Our guest is no other person but one of our very own, a voice in the HR fraternity, a lecturer, and a personal friend. Please help me welcome our guest for today, Yvonne. I call her Yvonne, I call her Adia Pena. I love that name. I love that name. It carries weight. So, Yvonne, you are welcome to today's episode of Sedat HR Digest.
Thank you very much for the opportunity, but it's a great honor for me. Forgive me, audience, for my voice. Today was my pastor's birthday, so some shoutings have been done. That's why the voice is like how it is, but we'll try to make the session a very interactive one.
Right. You're welcome, Yvonne. If you are just joining us, or if today is your first time of watching us, kindly drop your name in the chat box. We would acknowledge you accordingly. If you've been watching us from Sunday to Sunday, we want to say thank you. Keep watching, keep learning, keep improving, and keep transforming your organization. And don't also forget to follow us on all our social media handles. We are on YouTube, we are on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. In fact, we are everywhere. So please don't forget to like, share, and comment. And if you have any question, you want to seek clarification on today's discussion, please put it in the comment box. We'll read it out, and Yvonne would help to answer. I know Yvonne is ready for us. I know her. She's loaded, and I can't wait to learn this afternoon. Prosper, you are welcome. Pearl, thank you for joining us. We see you. Thank you so much. Please keep dropping your name in the comment section and we would acknowledge you accordingly. So Yvonne, we know you are ready to offload and we don't want to waste much time because I know today's topic is very well loaded, and so we want to go straight to the point. Today we are looking at managing different generations at the workplace, and we want you to first of all help us to identify or explain the different types of generations that we have at the workplace and the key characteristics that distinguish these generations.
Thank you so much for the question. So we have 5 people, different people working now. The first one is what we call the traditionalist or silent generation. These are about to leave. We have very few of them still working because they were born from 1925 to 1946. So quite a number of them, if they are even working, are like consultants or on contracts because of the peculiar or uniqueness of the skills they possess, so we still have them. Because if the person is 46, 40, was born in 46, you know that they are older than the retirement age. Okay. Then we have the baby boomers who were born from 1946 to 1964. That's the ones that are mostly in the companies now as the oldest bracket. Then the next one is the Generation X or Gen X. These are 1965 to 1981. Then we have the millennials, 1982 to 2000. Then now we have Generation Z or Generation Z or Gen Zs. They were born from 2001 to 2020, sorry. Now there's another crop coming up and they call them the Gen Cs, C for computer. They are born after 2020. So they are still in school, waiting to come out. These are those who are born after 2020. So they are 3 years now, let's say it. So that's the next generation we'll be facing. And these are those who were born during COVID. So be ready for those babies. I don't know if you watch those COVID cartoons, social media videos. Some of the babies, the things they were doing was amazing. Okay. Now, each of these generations has its peculiarity that you need to look out for. And this is because of one, how they were brought up. Two, the exposures around them, the society they found themselves in, and then the nature of work at the time they were born or entered into the work world. The fourth one is their education, how their education was structured. Okay. So when we take the silent generation or the traditionalists, these people like hard work. They believe that unless you are tired, it doesn't mean you've worked. So, and most of them were helping with the small factories for the wars and stuff. So when you come home, you should show that there's coal on you, because they were in the mines. You should show the blackness to show that you've done hard work today. You should show tiredness to show that you've done hard work today. And most of these people, you find out that they are men, because at that time, they and the baby boomers, most women were not doing the work as it is now. Most of the women were housewives or doing typical women kind of jobs like nurses, receptionists, like that. And then they are also very practical. They are conservatives and loyal. So they don't like changes. Most of them prefer that for a bank, it should be suit. Whether you can get your size or not, whether your stomach is big or not, it should be suit. And the suit should be conservatively colored. And because most of them are usually in the decision-making levels in their companies, they are able to sustain this conservativeness there. And it has crept up till now, even though Generation Zs or Zs are trying to change it, it's quite tough. Then for the baby boomers, they are competitive. They like to be seen as I did it. It was through me that it happened. And so they like the titles. Principal Officer 1, Principal Officer 2, Chief.
Director 3.
Thank you. They like it. And then they are also very liberal. So there are certain office practices that the silent generations wanted to keep. They didn't see why it should be kept. Like, there's nothing wrong in having office romance, kissing your lover who you work with in the office. There's nothing wrong in using the office vehicle to go and do your private stuff, as long as it's safe and you work during working hours. And then they are also very focused on the work. So one of the difficulties with them is that when you want to give them something different to do in the name of job expansion or even rotation, they would oppose you. It will backfire, because you say, I am receptionist. Let me receive people and the letters. Don't come and add other things to it. And this focusedness also comes in the fact that when they put their mind to do something, they will give you solid results. Nothing takes their focus from that particular assignment. And they are goal oriented, just like the focusedness I was talking about. That's for the baby boomers who were born from 1946 to 64. So most of them have also reached the retirement age and they are leaving. The other oldest generation we have now is the Generation X's. Okay, those who were born from 65 to 81. And these believe they came to change the nature of work. They believe in thriving in a work-life balance environment, and they thrive well there. They also like challenges where you give them extra work, you stretch them, give them um, goals to achieve beyond their comfort zones. They love it. They like to work with very little supervision. So when you are like push this here, put that there, they will rebel. They are like that. Then our millennials, somebody will say our almighty millennials. These were the ones who were born from 1982 to 2000. And they are very ambitious, they are daring, they are resilient, they are able to adapt to change. And one thing about them is that they can't focus on one thing. So even when the millennial is working with you, I am telling you, he is doing something else on the side, either for you or for himself. So you will see that a lot of them like these side hustles. So you'll be selling techie dresses online and they will do your work for you, pepe. They will be doing remote work for a US company after work and they are fine. They are also very good at multitasking. They can do so many things at the same time. So when you see them even on their phones, don't think they are doing something um, not related to your work. For all you know, they are researching to get things done for you because they are able to multitask very well. And then they adapt to change. In fact, they helped us to adapt to the changes that the computer brought to the work space because it was typewriter and fax machine and then PCs came, and these were the ones who helped us to rapidly see the benefits of this the PC and use it well. I remember back in the days, one of our secretaries, when we closed from work, she will cover the PCs with this sewn pillows cases around the system unit, the monitor, the UPS, and everything, disable the cords and all that. And then the millennials came, and these people are like, you don't need to cover them. That will not enter. Just make sure your AC is on. Don't disconnect anything. And then you come and you are now plugging things, and they have started work already. They are not afraid of systems. They are not afraid of processes. Yes. Just that they also don't like bureaucracy. They feel that if I need the director to sign something, why should I pass it through manager one to manager two to manager three? They will just climb. And that's why sometimes people say they are disrespectful. They are not. They don't like process, like move here to here to here to here. Just tell me, what do you want this thing to do? Then they will use their own means. So sometimes they can also be unethical because some of these processes are there to ensure there is ethics in the work we do. So that even though you've gone to bring the money, we want to be sure that you brought it through the right means. Okay. Millennials don't care much about that. Thankfully, the next generation we are working with now, the Generation Zs or Gen Zs, born from 2001 to 2020, they are a bit different. They are entrepreneurial by spirit. And so when you work with them, if you frustrate them a little, you see that they'll go and set up their own thing, doing a miniature of what you were doing and doing it so well, or start something like what you are doing on the side, because remember, they've picked all the characteristics from the silent generation, baby boomer generation, Y, millennials, and them. So they have a little bit of that in there. They are also very independent. They are technologically savvy. They will tell you this can do this. They are the ones who have discovered Chat GPT. Me, I'm not going to look for it. It will even occur to me because we were brought up to write, to calculate. So sometimes, even in calculation, I forget that my phone can do the calculation. I'm still doing this times this times this times this. Okay. But these Generation Zs, they are fast. If you give them an iPhone, they will tell you things this phone can do for you. You will have it and you only use it for WhatsApp and phone call. And so sometimes when you see that when they lose their PCs or phones, you will see the anger and anguish they are in because they are very technologically savvy. And so they do a lot of things through these gadgets. They are also very witty and funny. And so that's also one of the things that makes the office older generations think they are not serious. They like things to be fun. And this particular attitude is also with some of the millennials, those who were born from the early late 90s, the 95 onwards. They like work to be fun. They don't want you come to the office in suit and tie and you sit there and you are working Monday to Friday, January to December. Office party, they are making it so formal. They don't like it. They like work to be fun. So sometimes you see that they will crack jokes and they will all be laughing, or they will show you some WhatsApp video or Instagram video and they will all be laughing. Is part of how they are. And they are also very witty. So you may be saying something, just an innocent statement. They've deduced certain things from it, and you'll be amazed. And this is also because of their technologically savviness of their nature. So they are able to get information fast, very fast. So you are thinking, LOL, what's LOL? They've passed that stage. So as you are talking and then you use the word, they, because they know the source of the LOL, their minds go so far. Now, when it comes to the office, apart from these characteristics too, there are things these people also expect from the company when it comes to even remuneration. Whilst the traditionalists, baby boomers, and sometimes the Generation X's are looking for packages that will give them a smooth retirement, millennials and Gen Zs are looking for the now. What do you have for me now? So they like the cars, they like the accommodation support, utility support, and their major, the generation, millennials and Generation Z, their favorite is education support, where you either give them time or money to pursue higher education and courses. They love it. They love it. And also because they like work-life balance, it's important to also understand why the remote work thing is now with us, flexible work is now with us. When you do a research of all these generations, you will see that when it comes to compensation and benefit, one compensation that runs through for all of them is health benefit. They all want it, just that they want it in different parameters. Whilst the traditionalists and the baby boomers are looking for the kind of health benefit that is just to make sure they are fine and their families are fine, the other three are looking beyond just fine. They are looking at wellness, holistic health provision, where they are looking at dental care, mental care, and some call it green health, where you take them to the Sogako Pace and the leisure parks to go and just rest their body and soul. So you will see that quite a number of them, when they take their leave, they will vanish to some village B or Dubai. All you see is pictures on their Instagrams and stuff. That's for them, it's healing, it's health. And so if you put your 1,005 there for them as health package, they will not appreciate. Okay. And so that's also one thing that makes them a bit unique. Now, these generations in the office, it's not that they are bad. Sometimes you hear people say these millennials, this, that. And I say the millennials were created by the baby boomers and some of the Generation X's. These people struggled and decided their children will not struggle.
Yeah.
Their children will go to the best schools. Unlike me, when they dish food for me and it's one small piece of meat, if I open my mouth to cry, they will slap me. But my child can tell you, I don't even want this part of the chicken. And I'll feel normal because I remember how my mother used to beat me because I'm complaining about meat. I don't want it to affect my child. And so you will see that they are outspoken. They say their minds. That's also one thing that people see and say that millennials and Generation Zs don't respect. They do. Just that they speak their mind. They feel that's how I feel. I have to say it. And they don't care if you are the boss. This is how they feel, and they will tell you. Okay. And then they are also very adventurous, very, very adventurous. So you've brought in a new system for them to work. Before you see, areas they are not supposed to go into the system, millennials and Generation
They
X's
are already there.
are already there. But baby boomers and Generation X, we are waiting because we are afraid. If you press here and it vanishes, what will you do? So we will not touch it, but they will touch it. If it vanishes, we'll bring it back. Okay. And so all these characteristics, you find it there. But this doesn't mean that they should not be part of the workforce. In fact, you have no choice. That's what we have. So you need a good mix of them. They all come with their goods and their bads. And if you mix it better, you have a solid team to do your work. Yeah.
They all come with the goods and the bads. If you mix them well, it would work for the good of the organization. Interesting conversation. This is just our first question, and it's getting interesting already. So Yvonne, in fact, I wish we have more time so we could have a lot of follow-up questions and all that, but I would want us to move straight to the next question. Now, looking at the various characteristics that distinguishes these people, you realize that they all have different needs, different preferences, would want to be handled in different ways. As employers or as HR people or as leaders in the organization, how can we create an environment that can accommodate their individual needs or the different needs and preferences that these generations have?
First and foremost, it starts with having data. The people you have, do you even know their age? Because the ages will tell you the generation that they belong to. So you need data, you need information so that you can group them to see where they belong. Sometimes when you group, you will see that all your baby boomers are in one branch, or you will see that all your millennials are in a certain department. So you need data. Then the data will help you to know how to do the mix and even use it well. So that's where it starts. Secondly, you need to have a mindset that having different generations is not bad. Sometimes you get certain practitioners telling you that I don't want to employ millennials, so I don't like their attitude towards work. And I tell them, you want to die because they are the ones now who are leading businesses. Remember, these people were born up to 2020. Because even though we don't add Generation Zs, they are embedded in there. So we refer to all of them as millennials. So you first of all need data, where the data would help you to know who is where and who is doing what. Secondly, one size does not fit all. And I thank you for this particular question due to this answer. Sometimes when we put certain benefits together, we think that it should benefit everybody in the same way. Due to this diversity in the offices, you need to understand that the way you do your benefit should change. Let me give you a typical example. You have a health benefit for your staff. Dental is inclusive. Wellness is not included. And here, let me just focus on gym. Pat, you and I know these young people. They like to go to the gym.
Oh,
And you
yeah.
don't have it. They've gone to the gym and brought you receipt. You say you will not pay because it's not covering. I am telling you, they will start searching. But for the older people, once it takes care of them, their spouse and children, they are fine. Even if dental is not part of it, they'll brush their teeth themselves. They don't care. Okay. Now, for these people too, if you do one size fits all, they tend to see that you are not addressing their need. For example, even if it is health package, one spouse, 4 children. I am a millennial, I am a generation Z. I'm not yet married. So are you saying until I marry, it's only me that I will benefit from it? They see it as being unfair because you are spending so much on Mr. So and so, his wife and children, and you are spending so less on me. Meanwhile, we do the same work. Okay. And then they also see it that you are not looking at them holistically. So in such a situation, what you say is that it will cover your parents until you marry. Because some of them, they don't even want to marry, especially the women. They just want a baby with some intelligent, handsome guy. And that's it. They will take care of their child because they are working and they are fine. So if you keep saying spouse and children, it means this person is off that package. He's only the only one benefiting. So one size fits all should be really looked at. Then the next thing is also to not to stereotype. And this is where we should be careful. You millennials, you generation Y, the young people, some people don't do that because we have some millennials who behave like baby boomers. We have some generation Ys who behave like they and it's all because of their education, how they were brought up, the environment and circumstances. So if you stereotype them, you won't get the best out of these people. Now, let me come to the question proper. It starts by respecting each of them and their own uniqueness, respecting them, and making sure your staff also respects them. How does this start? Giving them information at the right time through the right sources. And if you know them, you will know that even communicating, millennials, generation Ys and Zs, they like the soft one. WhatsApp, emails, they are fine. Baby boomers like to read on the notice board or hard copy that they can know with your signature. That
You
is
have to print and send to them.
Thank you. Sometimes they even want you to close it up so they know nobody has seen it yet, even though it's information to all staff. You shouldn't say they are doing some doodle. That's how they were brought up. That's how they are. Okay. So if you are able to respect them, the way you even refer to them will reflect. And this is why some offices now have stopped the Mr. This, Madam That, so that you are able to call Yvonne, so that Yvonne can also call you your name, no matter your age or your generation that you belong to. The respect also goes to how you refer to them. Sometimes you hear the children, and kwalano, and you ask them, kwalano ya wana no, oh, national service for no, and junior officers no. Then you are like, it's not about where they sit in the company. They are human beings. So if you can refer to them as colleagues or as co-workers, call them by their names. And then you should also use the gifts and talents of these older generation, the silent generation, baby boomers, and the generation Ys that were born earlier in the 70s, early, late 80s. No. To train these other people. Like when you have a training program, you can go to them for ideas. Okay, sometimes you can even make them do the teaching or the training. They have a lot of ideas which you can also use to do. And then establish trust. Make each generation know you trust them. Sometimes we think it's only the young people who have apprehensions. The older ones have worse because we know that you can push us out anytime. Because one, technology, we don't know yet. We are not so good. Meanwhile, every company is going technology. So when it comes to pushing people out, you prefer to push this person who has 10 years more to go than the one who has 20 or 30 years more to go. So they are also having their issues. So build trust at all levels. Let people know that you appreciate them for their skill, not the age. Because sometimes people think that if the person is older, it means he's skilled, he's knowledgeable. It's not true always. So establish that trust and then mix them up in the teams. So when you get this data, for example, and you notice that all your baby boomers are in plant A, it's a good opportunity to do a mix so that your teams get good mixes of these generations. So when you are recruiting, you have that at the back of your mind that this finance officer I'm bringing to the finance team, it should be a generation Y person because we don't have any of them in the team. You can't ask somebody their age at an interview. It's an illegal question. But if you look at when they finish secondary school, you can easily guess. If you look at when if you use university, you may fail because maybe you went to Rome, life matters before they came to university. So the secondary school is usually the best point for you to easily guess the age and bring such a zoom on these people for the interview to add them to the team. And then when you put a younger person as the team lead for such a team, where you have a baby boomer there, a generation Y there, you need to do a lot of reorientation for the team to give that person the respect the person desires. Sometimes we hear we've been working here and they brought some young person just because he has gone to school abroad
to come and sit on us.
To come and sit on us. Thank you. And it could be that the HR is doing a good mix. And like I told you, these people train themselves, they develop themselves, the generation X, Z, and millennials. They do a lot of things on their own. If you ask a lot of the people here, you will see that a lot of them, if not 80%, will be either millennials or generation Zs. They like to learn things on their own, using their own monies. They don't depend on you. And so when they want to work, it's so easy for them because we investment be a new. Okay. Yes, they've done things on their own. And then also with these people to the benefits I talked about, target the benefits to them so that if it is health package, you are saying we'll take care of your health, your spouse and children. If you are not married, we'll take care of both parents until you marry. When you marry, one parent goes off. When you give birth to your first child, the second one goes off because it's still a burden on them. If they are not married, it doesn't mean they are not taking care of their parents. Now, somebody will say, what if their parents are dead? Give opportunity for them to bring you dependents. So you see that these days we even allow adopted children. We accept them as people's children. We accept this warfare sitting if you have documentation to prove until you have your own children. It's part of how we manage these people and the benefits. And then when it comes to proper remuneration, I'm talking salary. Most of the younger generation, that is generation Ys, millennials, and Zs, they prefer variable pay. So you give them small salary and then small allowances. They also like it when every time there's money coming to them. So, oh, no, some allowance be pop up in the month. It's the same thing that will come to them. But week 1, they say transport allowance, they collect. Week 2, food allowance, they collect. They like it. But the older ones, we prefer consolidated salaries because we are thinking of pension. So if it is consolidated, the SNIT will be big, Provident Fund will be big. Okay, so they like it a lot. So when you are doing consolidated salary in your office, check to see if you have baby boomers or generation Ys who were born earlier, they will not appreciate it, so that you meet them halfway. Then when it comes to training, also make sure you mix them up. The older generation, baby boomers, silent generation, they like face to face. These new virtual things, they want to see you and then interact with you, take your number, call you for some time after the training. But generation Ys, millennials, and the generation Zs, they like this virtual. In fact, for them, it's the best. And because the generation Zs and millennials are able to multitask, they can be listening to this. They are on their phone doing some other things and staring banco, and they will do it for you. So I tell students, if you know you are above 40, because do face-to-face if there's option. If there's no option, do online, because your genes don't support face-to-face so much. And we like to read the notes on paper. So when the lecturer has shared the slides, soft copy, we'll go and
We have
print.
to print
Hold and read.
so
But
that you can underline it when you are
thank
reading.
you. Thank you. But these people, they don't, because even in the script, they can underline, they can make changes there. So when it comes to training to, because you have a mix, you shouldn't do only virtual all the time. You shouldn't also do only face-to-face. You should do a good mix. So you will see that with most of the LMS learning management systems now, they are very interactive, with some breaks for the person to write certain things, to put certain things. And then also companies still do face-to-face training programs, and it's because of the older generation, they like that one. And then when it comes to employee relations, and here I want to focus more on communication, they communicate differently. Generation Y, millennials, and especially Generation Z, they like abbreviations, jargons, shortcuts. That's why we have all the LOLs, and I know, right? IKR. Recently, I hear there's CYI. Can you imagine? Somebody wrote it. I thought it was a Presbyterian Youth Fellowship something. They said no. It means can you imagine? They have all sorts of these jargons, and they will chat with it comfortably and fine. So when you are engaging them and you keep using technical long words, they lose interest. Go straight to the point and say it. So unlike the older people, where you are going to, let's say, do redundancy, and you have to tell them how good they have been and how they have supported the company and where you have reached, da, 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 da. Millennials and Generation Z's go straight to the point. Where we have reached in the company, some people have to go home. You'll be hearing the information. They just go straight to the point, because as soon as you start and you are doing that, they've deduced what you want to say already. And remember, we talked about respect. So when you are loitering around the whole matter, they feel that you feel they are not intelligent enough to appreciate what you are going to say. Then they also like emojis. These I don't know the other name for it. Social media symbols. They love it. So
Emojis
you write a whole long thing
and
for a
stickers.
candidate. Good. And stickers. I was reviewing CV for one young person. I've done a lot of comments, almost like the whole laptop comments. So I've typed all the way down, only for this gentleman to send me a smiley emoji and this. I'm like, what is this? I said. Then I sent him a message that, what are you trying to say? So I've got it. I'll work on it. Thanks. I said, oh, okay. Oh. If you don't know this, you will be angry upstairs if you are older, that these people, they don't respect. All these things I've said, this is what they have done. And so these are the few ways I can suggest that we can use to make these people get the best out of them as we work with them. The last one I want to add is supervision. The older generation love supervision. Baby boomers, silent generation, and then the Generation Ys, those who were born earlier. They love supervision, want you to check what they are doing and give them feedback. These other people don't like supervision a lot. All they want is tell us where we are going to, what we are supposed to do. So when you have them and you have a good performance management system, you will see that your key performance will usually be in that age group. Because once you let them know, this year we want to get 14% profit. We want to get it through a robust sales, aggressive sales, whatever, where everybody must sell this quantity every week. If you sell this quantity every week, you will get this. They will just throw themselves out there. You'll be amazed. That's how they are. Don't supervise, don't call. How's it going? Have you finished? They don't like it. So if you have them in your team, whilst you'll be giving me constant supervision for them, you check in maybe once a week to see where they have gone to, or tell them that this is what I want you to do. I expect an update on this day. That's it. And they will get it for you. So you are not breathing on them.
Thank you very much, Yvonne. If you want to create an environment to accommodate these various types of generations that we've spoken about, check your data, make sure your data is right. Check your mindset about the various generations. Avoid one size fits all and do not stereotype them. We will take a short break, and when we come back, we would proceed with the discussions. It's getting interesting and exciting, and we are really enjoying your conversation, Yvonne. Christiana, thank you for joining us. Stephen, thank you so much. And so we'll take a quick break and we will get back soon. Welcome back. You are watching Sedat HR Digest, and we've been discussing how to manage different generations at the workplace. Our guest is Yvonne Redu Akpabli. I call her Adia Pena, or sometimes I call her Senior. We've had interesting discussions. We've looked at the various types of generations that we have and the characteristics that distinguishes each of them. We've looked at how to create the environment to accommodate the various needs of these generations. If you have any question, you want to seek clarification of any of the things that have been said, please put it in the comments box. We would read it out for Yvonne to help you out. We also want to remind you that from 23rd of February 2023 to 24th of February 2023 at the Crystal Palm Hotel, we will be having a performance management system training. Trust me, it's a practical session, hands-on experience on how to couch your objectives and your KPIs and how to translate performance results into rewards, which a lot of people do not know how to do. They just review and they leave it as it is. But at this training, we will teach you how to use your performance scores to reward your employees or the people you manage. Our guest is Yvonne, and Yvonne is really making our discussion today very interesting. So Yvonne, we want to find out, looking at the different characteristics and how they want to be handled, and your explanation had already gone. In fact, you've already explained some of the questions I was going to ask. When it comes to training, how should we go about it? And I think you touched on it, and that is fantastic. For the millennials and the Gen Zs, we want the online, and Charlie, don't bore us with a lot of histories and all that, but the traditionalists or the silent generation and the boomers would want to come face to face, so that you would, after that, you will serve us with breakfast and give us snack break
and certificates.
Thank you, and take our call cards. Even we want to find out, how can we create a culture that values diversity and inclusiveness across these generations?
Thanks. It starts by first acknowledging, knowing, understanding that there are different age groups in the offices. Whether you've done the research or not, it's like that. Because even if it's one age, one generation, you know that the ages are different. So you should just understand. You can't have everybody born in 1975 in one office. It's not possible. It will be different ages, and of course they will belong to the groups.
Mm.
Secondly, you need to educate the staff, sensitize them to understand that human beings are diverse. Even twins are not the same. And this particular diversity focus is not on the that thing, how they call it, the melancholy and this thing. Personality, it's not on the personality traits. It's not on it. Here you are talking about the fact that different age groups behave differently. And like I said earlier, it is because of one, the educational system. Some of us went to school for 7 years before we went to university. So I have had classmates, we've sat in one room for 7 years. Okay. If you did SHS, you have just 3 years. You can't say my experience and yours are the same. If my school was in Cape Coast, I've been doing Accra Cape Coast 7 years times 3 terms. You are doing 3 terms times 3. Experience will never be the same. Okay, so you need to let them understand that these generations are different and it's not their fault. It is not their fault. And sometimes you can even do a session. I had a session like that where you ask them to tell you you group them into groups, and then you tell, let's say, the baby boomers, what do the generation wise do that you like, and then they do you don't like. You see that all these characteristics will come out for them. Now, the fact that we are different is not a problem. In fact, we can harness it for our own benefit. These baby boomers are loyal. They are the ones who stay till they go on pension. They are the ones who have the institutional memory. So you need them. But you have also introduced systems you need to run fast to meet competition, even to beat it. So you need these young ones. So you use these sessions, and it's not supposed to be a training session. It can be short WhatsApp messages, micro learning flyers. This is where you need JPEG and his people to design some stuff for you. You share it with staff to make them understand we are different in the offices. Even when it comes to the able and the disabled, you can see that we are different. But the fact that I have hearing impairment does not mean I'm less of a human being. There is something I can also do. Most of these persons who have hearing impairment, they are very observant. Some things they will see, you will not see. So you capitalize on that. The other thing you should also make them understand is not to stereotype. Like I have mentioned, there are people who are generation wise. They behave like silent generation. I go die here. Company is sinking. They are still there. They won't look for work. They've gone to school. They have all the certificates to become CFO in another company. He will still be here as finance officer. That person is exhibiting the silent generation attribute. So
And be
if you
taking
scale
long service award.
Thank you. They like it too. So if you decide that because he's young, this is how it should be, and this is what you will give them, you'll be making a huge mistake. And you help your people to also not stereotype. Usually, all these things I'm talking about starts from the top. Executive ownership. When the executives show that we believe in diversity, sometimes you go to a company and all the decision makers are baby boomers. All the decision makers, all of them, there's no Y, there's no Z, there's no M. They are all big older people. When you come from there and you are talking, the other young generation people will not trust you. They won't even listen well because they don't think you understand their need. So have a good mix from top to bottom. There are very young people who are very talented, well skilled, well trained, well mannered, who can sit at the top and help you with decision making. Because when you take generation wise, they like to solve problems. They like to be part of decision making. Why are you saying we shouldn't wear suit to work again? They want to know why. So if you have some of them in your decision making level, they will help you to even craft this information to share. And it gives a sign to the people that you indeed embrace diversity. Because if you are talking diversity, then the top is only baby boomers. The next level is generation wise, then millennial, then the others are the young Konkwa people. They will not believe that you even believe in diversity. You know, it should flow from the top, and you should have activities. You go to some companies, they will be saying going back to the 60s. They are just celebrating baby boomers. They are celebrating silent generation. So we all come to work dressed like that. Then they say 80s, then they dress like that. It's all part of it. And then also we know that these millennials and generation Zs, they like work to be fun. So your extracurricular activities, you include it there. So you have football teams, 15 minutes per half. So 30 minutes in all. Each team has a good mix. And this good mix is not just the generation, but you have women in the team. Women are there, not only men playing. It will give you a good mix to help people appreciate this diversity, and then give them a report on the impact of all these diversity things you are doing, especially with the generation gap and management that we are talking about, for them to see the advantages. Don't only showcase what the young people do or what the older people do. Showcase what people do, so that they see that it is not about age, it is not about your generation, but it is about what you can do, because the company has already created that environment to allow you use your age to do it and do it well. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Yvonne. If we want to create a culture that accommodates these various generations, let's all make sure that we contribute to it. It has to start from the top management, executive members. Let everybody in the organization know that we believe in diversity and we believe in inclusion. Mix the various generations up because they can help each other, and their mix up will go a long way to help the organization. Yvonne, there's a question here. Christiana wants to find out, how do we manage, or how can one manage attendance for the different generations?
So thank you very much, Christy. That's one of my mentees. It's lovely to see you here. So when you take the silent generation and the baby boomers, because they are conservative, they still like the attendance book with a red pen under the name that came in at 8 a.m. Still love it. When you take generation Y, they love the thumbprint, the bio one, to show that I have come. Millennials and Generation Zs believe that all you want me to do in this office is to pick this phone from here to here. Whether I'll start picking at 10 or 12 doesn't matter. What you need is that I have picked it. So they don't like you checking attendance. So you will see that these days most companies are moving from process to results. How you do it is not really the problem. And here, the how, I'm not excluding ethics. I'm talking about, we don't need you to come in at 8 and close at 5, because there are people who come at 8 and close at 5. They are not doing anything. They are doing what we refer to as presenteeism. He is there, but he's not working. At the end of the day, he's tired, but there's nothing to show for the tiredness. Okay, and that is what baby boomers and the silent generation believe in. To go home and say they are tired, it means they have worked. But this generation Z and millennials, they don't like attendance. So most of them don't like you collecting attendance. So what you do for these people is that you tell them, I am not taking attendance to check your punctuality. I am taking attendance to know who is in my building, so that when there is fire and I bring everybody out, I will know that I can't see Yvonne's name here. Yvonne is not here, even though her name is on the list. So you go on the side of safety, protection for them, even though you are still checking to see when they come. Okay. And then you will notice that even with that, the baby boomers, silent generation will still come early, because they want to be seen as they were there early enough. But they are usually the ones who will pick their bags at 5 o'clock. But these people who come like 8:30, 9 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, they are there. they are still working because they also believe in results. So they want to get a result for that day before they leave. So you are taking attendance not just to check punctuality, but you are taking it to make sure that you have a record of those in your building at a particular time. And communicate same to them. Don't hide it for them to think that you are collecting it, but indeed you are using it for punctuality. All they will see is a query on their table, explain why you should not be punished for coming to work at 9 o'clock on Tuesday morning. That they don't want that. So be upfront. Remember, we've talked about respect and trust. So if you are collecting attendance for them, let them know that is the reason. But I would advise you in this modern times, unless you work in a hospital where if you are not there, they will die, or you are producing a life-saving something, focus on
Absolutely.
results. Don't focus on attendance. And you will see that they themselves will start coming early, so they will give you the results for the day. Yes. Yeah.
It will give you the results for the day. Interesting and amazing conversation. If you just join us, this is Sedat HR Consult. Our guest today is Yvonne Redu Akakli, HR for one of the shipping companies here in Accra, Ghana. Thank you so much, Yvonne. It's been insightful, but unfortunately, our time will not permit us to continue with the other questions. However, if you have any question, the discussion does not stop here. You can send us your questions on all our social media platforms. Just look for Sedat HR Consult or Sedat HR Digest. We will get your questions, give it to Yvonne. She would explain it, and then we will have it. Or you can even search for Yvonne on all the social media handles. She's very active on social media. So once you look for her, she would help you out. We want to remind you that today's episode is brought to us by Sedat HR Consult. Contact us for all your HR and people needs, and also JPEG Ghana Limited for all your designing. And Yvonne says that one of the things we can do is to have activities. And so your fun activities, we are having this, we are doing this, much is just coming, we have independence, try and have something fun, have a fun activity at the office. You need somebody to design your artworks for you. Please get in touch with JPEG on 057-1870-972. And don't forget that from 23rd to 24th of February 2003 at the Crystal Palm Hotel, we will be having a performance management training, hands-on practical experience on how to design a performance management system. Right, Yvonne. Before we sign off, I want you to give us your final words, and we can say goodbye to our viewers.
So having these different generations is not a curse. It's indeed a blessing. The most important thing is how do you use them to your benefit? It starts by understanding them. It starts by knowing who they are and what they need, and then using their strengths to your advantage, and then working on their weaknesses to still be in your advantage. So it's not bad that you have a lot of young people or a lot of old people. It's about how to manage them to win business or to win in business. It has its challenges, yes, but that's why Sedat is doing this session to help us overcome some of these challenges. And once you know them, it becomes easy to manage them. Train your managers who are leading these groups and teams to know who they are. You reach out to Sedat, they will do it for you, and then you get the best out of these people. I take this opportunity to thank Sedat Consult for this time to share my knowledge with people, and all the people who have tuned in. We are grateful that we are all learning. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yvonne. Having these people is not a curse, it is a blessing. All you need to do is to miss them well so that knowledge can smoothly be transferred and all of us will be happy at the workplace. Thank you. It is HR Digest, SEDAT HR Digest, and we have been discussing how to manage different generations at the workplace. Our guest has been Yvonne, one of the HR practitioners, one of the the gurus in the HR fraternity, and she has taken us through a very insightful discussion this afternoon. Please don't forget, once again, we'll be having a performance management system training. Sign up, come and learn how to practically learn how to design a performance management system, policy, performance management training, how to link your performance management systems to rewards and how to do it very well. It is happening from 23rd to 24th of February 2023 at the Crystal Palm Hotel. Get in touch with us, sign up, and you will never regret it. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we believe we'll see you next week for another interesting episode. My name is Patience Crunchy, and I have been your host for today. Thank you.
Thank you.